Hey guys, back again with another channel update video. It's been a little bit since I did one, so I figured there's a number of things I wanted to talk about that kind of need to be said. Right now, things have been a little hectic, so that's why some stuff hasn't come out or been. Basically, I've had a lot on my plate the last month, so we'll get into that. First thing I want to say is first video in the first full build series will be coming out in the first Wednesday of September. Now, I know I had originally said I'd want to come out in August. Unfortunately, that's not going to end up happening. So that kind of got pushed back a little into September. Subsequent videos in that series are going to come out monthly. Unfortunately, right now that's the best I can do. In part because I want to get some feedback and opinions on this first set, so that then when I go to record the next one, I can try and improve. Find out areas that might be a little deficient and try and make the video series better. So that's where we are with that. Fortunately, I've also not been streaming as much lately. I'll get into some of the reasoning why there in a little bit, but that's in part why some of the releases have been kind of cut short. In part, also because on one of the kits that I'm working on for the build stream, I ran out of the color I need. I honestly thought I had another paint bottle of it, but unfortunately, I guess I must have used it and not marked it off on the little paint rack app I've got. So that unfortunately set us back a little there, and yeah, so that one's going to be on a bit of a hiatus because I don't know next time I'm going to be near a hobby store that carries that paint. Because that's one of the things I don't like buying online, only because in order to make the shipping cost worth it, you've got to buy an obscene amount, which I really don't want or need right now. So that's sort of where we are with that. Going to probably be starting a different project to make up for that soon. So definitely check out my Twitch channel to follow when those videos are being streamed. There, obviously, they'll come out on here on YouTube as they come out. So, okay, so moving on. As far as flight videos go, right now I'm kind of in a sort of a hosed position, as the next video or next flight is a night flight, and it's basically going to be mostly pattern work. Problem is the airport I fly out of is right on the coast. We get a marine layer coming in, and unfortunately, for a while now, it's been basically every night. So that makes it really difficult to get out and do that kind of flight, simply because if you have to go IFR, every time you try to get out, it's a real pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass for ATC, and just it basically makes the flight undoable from a practical standpoint. So that's where we are with that. Fortunately, right now we're kind of host for weather. The other reason is, and I gotta go look at my logbook, make sure check on this. I think I'm not currently IFR current. I think I need to get in like 2 or 3 approaches to get current. I need to add them up to see where we are. Maybe I just need to get one in, make sure I'm current, which is the case. Then all is well. That'd be easy enough to do. But if not, I'm probably gonna have to go up on instructor. In fact, I've already scheduled that. Probably not gonna record that one just because it's gonna try to do it pretty quick. There's basically another airport just north of us at Oceanside that I can basically do one approach into there, and it queues us up for approach back into Carlsbad. So that's where we are with flight videos. Now, as for other happenings, started July. I had Anime Expo. This was, if you've been watching my channel for a while now, you know I put out the photo slides of videos. So I was at that at the start of the month. Now, this is where some stuff happened. Forgive me if this is a little hard to talk about. So, day one of Anime Expo, it started off pretty normal. Like it does for the most part every year. In fact, this year they actually seem to have their act together better than they've had in past years. Part of that could be because they decided to mail out badges this year, so it made all you had to do was just pick up your goodie bag and lanyard and all of that. That they had line control better done this year than they've had in past, so there really wasn't much issue there. So day one progressed for the most part normal. I'd gone back, checked into my hotel, had some lunch, and all that. As I was leaving the hotel, I was sort of power climbing up a flight of stairs. Started that when I got to, like I said, this is kind of hard to talk about for me. As I got to the top of the stairs, all of a sudden I started getting lightheaded. I've gotten this before in the past. Best way to describe it would be if you've been crouching down and sort of pinching off blood flow into your legs for too long, and then you stand up too quickly. That sort of feeling of lightheadedness. So I sort of stagger for a second, recover fairly quickly. At that point, for some reason, my heart skipped a beat there. Then once it came back, all of a sudden it just went nuts. Best way to describe it would be like a bubbling, gurgling type of sensation. Was not in any kind of normal heart rhythm, is the best way to say it. So, ended up actually having to go to the hospital. In fact, it ended up in the emergency room because of this. Then the EMT said at one point my heart rate was over 200 a minute. They tried doing sort of like a zap shock type treatment to try to get the heart back in rhythm. In fact, they tried that twice and it didn't work. Some of that I think because they didn't, I do have a bit of hair on my chest, so I think that was because it didn't get a clean electrical connection. So it did leave a pretty nasty burn mark on my chest, which still hasn't, basically almost a month later, hasn't fully healed yet. So Ended up being in the hospital for 2 days. Um, Suffice to say, that really just knocked everything out of me. Find this with some meds they had me on really just took a lot of the energy out of me. Was able to go back for day 4 at Expo, but so I'd say that health scare really has thrown me off, and even now is still some degree throwing me off. Fortunately, the only upside is that this does not appear to be have been caused by anything structural or anything like that, and was not a heart attack or anything like that. That's sort of the only upside. That speak both with my regular doctor and specialist, it sounds like what happened was just a slew of factors that sort of all lined up in just the right way at just the right time. That it was one of those 1 in a million type deals. Probably the biggest ones being heat, as we had a heat wave going, dehydration, because I guess maybe I hadn't drank as much fluids as I thought I had, at least for the heat, and maybe just some general stress and anxiety. So especially that really, the first week or two of July, I was not in a good place, and some degree I'm still not fully in a good place. Can't tell just how much I'm really kind of struggling to talk about this, because I'm not one of those people that wants to be any kind of burden. That to me is one of the worst things a person can do. So to be knocked out like that is one of the worst things that could happen to me. So obviously the next couple weeks after that was primarily, doctor's visit and trying to make sure we get to the point where we don't have something like this happen again. And also because last week I had Comic-Con, and I wanted to make sure I was healthy for that. So that's sort of been my main focus through most of July. Comic-Con, though, fortunately, was a bit better. I did have a couple little hiccups there, and I think in hindsight now, some of it was caused by the medications I was on. Basically, needed to tweak it a little. As truth be told, on Sunday or last Sunday, my pulse rate got really low, like dangerously low. It was dipping into the 40s. Which now, if you're like a pro athlete, that's par for the course. That's normal. That means you're in great, fantastic shape. But obviously, I'm no pro athlete, so my heart rate being that low was not good. I digress a little, but Comic-Con this year, some things they got right. Probably the biggest one was closing off Harbor Drive there in front of the convention center. That, from everything I've heard from everybody, everyone seemed to think that was definitely a good idea. Another thing, and this is my own personal opinion, I do think them going to the lottery system for exclusives for a lot of the things actually helped a little. As the biggest complaint I've had with their exclusive, how they distribute tickets for exclusives in past, was that people would routinely cut the line, and basically instead of coming in through the main line like everyone's supposed to, they would cut through in the back of the convention center and go up the stairs, even though they're not supposed to, and they're supposed to have people back there keeping people from doing that, but they never did. So, if you waited in line, by the time you got up to the sales building to get a ticket, they were all gone. So doing it this way, in my opinion, helped. Because in all honesty, the main thing I was going through for was a thing at Hasbro's booth, and by towards the end of the second day, they were opening it up to everybody, as they had gotten through all ticketed queue and still had enough open so they could get through. Which, to me, I honestly think that worked. That really worked for them in a general sense. It made it so that you had lottery people, they could get their items, and then you'd still be able to allow people to get in line to get what they were looking for, even if they didn't win. So, granted, I don't know. Obviously, Funko, from my understanding, yeah, if you didn't get a ticket, you didn't get anything. Granted, I don't collect the Funko Pop figures; they're not my thing. But yeah, overall, Comic-Con did a good number of things right this year. Now, obviously, I think they do need to do better stuff for how they do some of the lines down inch and floor. And they still need to work on how they distribute what panels are in what rooms. There's still a lot of them that are hugely popular, or that they're still sticking in smaller rooms. So I don't know if they unfortunately need to go to clearing rooms between panels or what. I don't know. That's one of those things that really can't 100% figure out what needs to be done. But overall, Comic-Con this year was better. Then tried to take more photos than I have in the past couple of years that I've been going, so as to try and make up for Anime Expo. But unfortunately, cosplayers at Comic-Con are slowly becoming a dying breed. Between crowds, lack of places to shoot, and just general lack of communication, it's eventually a point where you're probably not going to see any. And this is in comparison, obviously, to Anime Expo. Anime Expo for cosplayers does a fantastic job. In fact, you can find, they have the events schedule and everything. They really go out of their way and do a great job for cosplayers and photographers. Be able to, find and do shoots. Fantastic job on that front, which is part of the reason missing a lot of AX hurts so much for me. Because I enjoy doing photography. It's one of the few forms of art that I can actually do. So, yeah, overall, Comic-Con was in a lot of ways better this year than in years past. So, hopefully, they do continue some of the stuff they did this year, next year. So, of course, I'm able to get a ticket again. But, yeah. So, this is kind of all I wanted to talk about in this update video. Just something to sort of tell what's going on, what to expect. I'm hoping to do a little more streaming tomorrow. I'm not going to be able to do it today. That was another thing. I decided to join up with my local IPMS chapter, and truth be told, the first meeting I went to was really interesting. They had a talk on the recovery helicopters for Mercury Gemini program. It was surprisingly interesting. But yeah, that's sort of what I'm going to be doing on a regular basis from now on. Don't know if I'll do any video recording from there or photography, what have you. But yeah, that is something I'm going to be doing now on. Beyond that, we'll see what happens next few months. I'm going to try to get some more review videos done. At the moment, I'm thinking we're definitely going to have a bit of a hiatus at the end of this year, going into 2019. Partially just so I can, build up video queue again. Partially also, if everything goes right with flying, I might be, changing jobs as well. So hopefully on that front, I do mean hopefully, That'll be happening end of next year, very early, or end of this year, very early next year time frame. So we'll see what happens. Honestly. So, yeah, that's sort of all I want to talk about today. Been a rough month, but we're getting through it. So, until next time.